Hello everyone, my name is Mason Staley. I did my study abroad trip in Cambodia, in the capital Phnom Penh. I did my study abroad program through IVHQ, which is International Volunteer Headquarters. There is a volunteer house in the middle of the capital Phnom Penh. There we received our rooms and our roommates. We came to learn once we got to the volunteer house that Cambodia has a really bad drainage problem. There was signs above the toilet saying you cannot flush toilet paper down the toilet because it might cause a backup. So instead there was a hose to the right which we had to use, and this is where I first saw the big difference between how Cambodians live versus how Americans live. We arrived a day early in Phnom Penh, so we decided to go out and check out the famous Russian market. Here you could buy anything from assorted fruits to meats to any type of souvenir you want, from jewelry to textiles to clothing, anything you wanted for a really cheap price. Once the rest of the volunteers arrived in Cambodia, we finally got the opportunity to learn about the history and the background of this country. A big takeaway I want everyone to know about Cambodia was that there was a mass genocide in 1975. A man by the name of Pol Pot killed almost 2 million people. The Genocide Museum was actually an old high school. It was the Tuol Sav Pre High School. Pol Pot, back in the day, had taken over the high school and turned it into a security prison. Here at the prison, the prisoners had to follow a selective amount of rules. If these rules weren't followed, they would either suffer by torture or by death. One way of torture was by the gallows. This was originally used for exercise when the high school was still around. Instead, it was used as a form of interrogation. Our prisoners' hands were tied behind their back and hung upside down until they lost consciousness. They then were dunked into a pot of filthy water, where they gained consciousness again and were continued to be interrogated. As a result of this mass genocide, the population decreased greatly. As of today, 50% of the population is under the age of 15. Another big problem in Cambodia is the high level of poverty they have. Around 50% of the people survive on less than $1 a day. Here's a video of us visiting the floating villages in Siem Reap. This is where we got to witness firsthand how those who don't have much money had to live. After witnessing these living conditions, I have the utmost respect for these people. They make the best out of what they have. Witnessing these conditions gives us a good global perspective of how the other side lives. Seeing how they live gives me a greater respect for the country and its people. A global perspective also helps us grasp a better understanding of not only our own identity, but the identity of those we connect with. It also gives us the opportunity to know what goes into shaping a country's culture. In terms of how we do health, a global perspective shows us how grateful and lucky we are to be able to receive such prominent care. Some aren't as lucky as we might be, so we should never take for granted what we have available to us. The last main issue I want to discuss about Cambodia was the pollution problem. The sewage system in Phnom Penh is borderline non-existent. Trash and filth is just tossed on the side of the street or into small bodies of water. Pollution has made some areas in the town impossible to breathe in. From a global health standpoint, this country needs a lot of help with these unhealthy environments. This can lead to many more problems than there already are. and due to the lack of maintenance and the destruction of water systems, sewer water and clean water mix, leaving risks of outbreaks of major epidemics. With all these issues going on, the government of Cambodia is not doing a very good job of keeping its people healthy and away from disease. A few facts we were given was that the most important health problems are malnutrition, malaria, tuberculosis, and diarrheal diseases. And there is an infant mortality rate of 120 per 1,000 births up to age 1. Again, like those in the US, only the wealthy can have and afford the best care. Here, no one is promised health care either, which makes me sad to hear because of all the poverty, pollution, and illness in Cambodia. My most impactful experience came from my volunteer opportunity that I was given throughout my stay in Cambodia. I had a chance to volunteer at an orphanage for kids with disabilities. This was a challenging yet rewarding experience. I, along with a couple other volunteers, had to assist the caregivers, who were called the mamas, by singing for the children, feeding them, dressing them, helping them brush their teeth, helping them use the bathroom, and assisting them to do physical activities. Many of the kids had either cerebral palsy or some type of brain disorder. At first, I was a little timid, but I grew to love the kids and made relationships with them. I wouldn't have wanted any other job while I was there. As everyone knows, it's not only the places you go that makes traveling such a blast, but also the people that you meet that make the experience so much more enjoyable. From studying abroad, I have become a better person. I no longer take things that I am given or have for granted. I've come to see that there's always going to be someone who is going through a harder time than I am, and I should be thankful for the opportunities I have received. I also learned to respect the culture of others. The people of Cambodia could have treated me poorly and seen me as an outsider. Instead, I was welcomed with open arms, and I am truly grateful for that. So as this video comes to a close, I leave you with this message. Do what you can to try to help those around the world, whether it be by volunteering, donating, or promoting. Try and make a difference. You may not know it, but your impact can change the lives of so many.